Hello friends, today we're going to be making another family recipe, Bayrisch Kraut. Now Bayrisch Kraut is a derivative of sauerkraut. It's known as more or less as Bavarian sauerkraut. Has a couple things that are a little different than your normal sauerkraut. And this is something that my family would usually serve with some meats or around the holidays. A nice little side dish. I plan to serve it today with tomato provençal for myself, along with another family favorite, parsley potatoes. I got about 5 slices of bacon here, and I'm going to basically dice them up, put them in the pan, and we're going to brown this up. We're going to brown the bacon and leave all the drippings in the pot, and we'll reserve the bacon. Alright, so while that's going, we're going to prep up some of our other ingredients. I have here 1 large yellow onion. I'm just going to roughly chop it. If you slice it, if you remove the non-root end, leave the root end on, and slice it lengthwise, it'll stay in half together there. So you can just put a couple in it, couple cuts in it this way. When you bring it back together, you can get a nice dice or chop real quick. Alright, and we're going to reserve that for later. And then we also want to get together our cabbage. I'd say this is a medium-sized head. I've removed the outer leaves that don't really look too good. Just going to chop off the bottom here. I'm going to cut through the core lengthwise. And right here, here's where you see the core of the lettuce is. Cabbage rather. Just cut in with your knife. You can reach in and pull that out. That is good if you're making a soup, you can cook that in. And you don't have to go crazy about cutting cabbage just because it's really already cut. Nature already did it for you. So I just give it a couple shots along the way. And then a few more back this way, cutting, I'd say about in between 1/4 and 1/2. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is home, this is home style family cooking. If it looks too perfect, people are going to think you got it out of a jar and they won't get credit for your work. Okay, we're going to hold that off. Now, do the other half. Now, cabbage is a dish that was common in a lot of cultures, especially a lot of cultures with a farming background, because it was plentiful, relatively easy to raise. As it does now, even then it had a fairly decent shelf life fresh. It lended itself to be preserved into sauerkrauts such as this. And it was filling, especially at a time when a lot of people didn't have anything. That's why you see in Polish cooking, Slavic cooking, Russian cooking, and Irish cooking, such a heavy dependence on cabbage. Mostly because this is how you could fill up a family. As you see in my halushki recipe, just a few ounces of noodles and cabbage, and I was able to feed at least 4 people. Now this is a whole big old calendar full. It's going to cook down some, but this is still going to make a good amount. Alright. Our bacon's got just another minute. Alright, we're going to pull out the bacon. This is going to cook for a good length of time, so we really don't want the bacon to, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't want it to get too soft in the process whilst we're stewing it. So I'm just going to pull it out. You don't have to obsess about getting every little scrap out. If a couple pieces end up in there, it's okay. So we're going to hold that off this side. That's going to go back in later. Now, we're going to add our onions. I advise everybody to invest in some good tongs that are heat resistant at the end. Add some salt. About a teaspoon. Some pepper. Add a good amount of black pepper. And also a little bit of white, just because I have this really finely ground white pepper. Maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of white. And we're just going to soften that a little bit. It's going to cook for a very long time. Now we're going to bring in our cabbage. Going to season the cabbage as well. And that will work its way through as it steams. With pepper up here. That's a big pot, so you think I put a lot of stuff in here, but it's a lot of stuff. Now we have to add the rest of our ingredients. Usually the recipe calls for a cooking apple. That's really tough to find in modern times, but to me that's like any tart apple, like a Macintosh or Granny Smith. But for me, I don't really like those chunks in there. I just more or less want the flavor. So I'm just going to add a cup of applesauce. Trust me here. Now we're going to get 1/2 cup of white vinegar. This is conveniently 4 ounces, so. There we go. And 1/4 cup of sugar. And that is what we're going to start with. I'm going to rinse it out, get the rest of that apple in there. I'm going to give this a good stir. And this is going to go for a while. And once it gets hot and steaming, I want you to cover it. And it's going to cook for several hours. We're going to let this cabbage cook all the way down. You want to give it a stir every 20-25 minutes. You don't want to burn it. You want to be on a nice slow heat. And then I'd say after about an hour and a half worth of cooking, you get in there and taste it and see what your flavor's like. So I'll come back after it's cooked down and we'll adjust the flavor. Alright friends, it's been about 45 minutes. You can see we got a lot of liquid in there. I added 3 tablespoons of caraway seeds. And we're just going to let this keep on cooking down. Low and slow, a couple hours at least. We'll be back. Alright, it's been a good 2 hours. We should be good to go. I really smell that caraway seed coming through. Now the last thing we're going to do, a good amount of our liquid's reduced down. We're going to add our bacon back in. And just give it a light stir in. And to serve it, you would serve it with anything you want as a side. Just going to grab some of it. And this will keep for at least a good week in the fridge. And there we go. Bayrisch Kraut. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.